everyone, it's Starstruck here, and today I'm doing a video similar to the one I did about my thoughts on Nikocado Avocado. And basically I'm just gonna be sharing how I feel about the show 13 Reasons Why. If it looks like I'm wearing the same pajamas in a lot of these videos, it's because I have my room to myself, so I'm just like recording a bunch of videos while my roommates are not home, so that I don't like disturb them when they are home, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm basically going to record a couple of videos with me in this space, in this environment. And yeah, but without further ado, let's get right into it. So 13 Reasons Why, that's a series that came out, I believe it came out in like 2017, 2019. I will put the poster of it up right here. But basically 13 Reasons Why is a show that deals with a lot of sensitive topics such as suicide, depression, addiction, body dysmorphia, just a whole bunch of stuff, and also like sexuality. Like, it deals with so much stuff, right? And there's some controversy that goes around when it comes to the show and when it comes to the characters in the show. But as somebody that's studying psychology, and also from like just me, how I personally feel about some things are a little bit different than how other people feel. Because, most people are very quick to just be like, oh, this person is bad, that person is terrible, and this person is this person is that. But in reality, it's not black and white. Life is not just black and white. People aren't just bad or just good. That's not how life works. That's not how people work. If people are going to do something that's like bad, there's a reason why they're going to do something bad. Like, for example, there's characters in the show that are like deemed as just bad, just wrong. Like, they don't deserve forgiveness or whatever. And it's like, it's possible that I shouldn't be talking about this subject, given the fact that my channel is just barely starting to get traction. It's just barely starting to grow. I shouldn't start talking about like controversial topics just in case people get mad and start to not like me or unfollow me or whatever. But y'all, hear me out, please just hear me out. But yeah, so basically let's talk about, I'm trying to figure out if I want to talk about Bryce first or if I want to talk about Monty first. Let's talk about Bryce, because I have more of like an opinion on Bryce than I do Monty. Because it's like I have an opinion on Monty, but I have more of an opinion on Bryce. So basically, Bryce Walker, right? He's like one of the main antagonists in the show. But also, I'll put it at the beginning of the video, like, if you haven't watched this series, watch it, because the topics that I talk about are like it's like a spoiler alert, but as well as a lot of difficult topics, just a lot of bad topics I'm going to be discussing. But yeah, so Bryce Walker, right? He was a football player. He was a senior at Liberty High School, but he was removed from Liberty High School and had to transfer to a different school towards the end of the series because he basically got in trouble with the justice system because he SA'd a girl, multiple girls, but the specific one that he chose to do that to just so happened to be the main like star of the first series, Hannah Baker. She basically was like, she was the main person. She was the main person that was like the point of season 1. She basically killed herself and she left 13 tapes. I also didn't even explain the show, but if you haven't seen the show and you're okay with spoilers, or if you have seen it, then you already know. But just a brief overview, 13 Reasons Why is basically a series that the 13 Reasons Why title has to do with the girl that left 13 tapes. She left 13 tapes before she killed herself. And actually, did she leave 13 or did she leave 12? She left tapes. She left tapes. And each person had their own tape, had their own side of a tape, or had more than one tape, right? And she basically left this guy in charge. His name was Tony. She left this guy in charge of dispersing the Sorry if my shirt is loose. She left this guy in charge of dispersing the tapes, right? And making sure that everybody on the tapes got them and made sure that they were like going to know what they did or whatever. And also, I want to talk about that too. But since I said I was talking about Bryce Walker, let's talk about him first. Okay, Bryce Walker, right? He did a lot of bad things to a lot of girls. And he originally, like, in the first half of the series, he seems unremorseful. He appears like this bad person that doesn't care about anyone or anything, and he's like selfish and privileged and rich, right? That's how the show depicts him, but that's also how he depicts himself. That's what he puts out. That's the energy he puts out, right? But at the same time, there are like occasions in the earlier seasons where Bryce is not like a total jerk or terrible person, by the way. And mind you, I don't know why people like disregard the third season. I think it's the third season. I'm not sure why people just disregard the third season. Like, everything that he did to try and redeem himself after how he was is called character development, character progression. Like, when things like this happen to people in anime, nobody says anything. It's like, oh, they went from like this villain that killed a bunch of people to this great person, this hero. Like, I don't understand why certain behavior is excused, but the other behavior isn't. Like, mind y'all, murder. People on different platforms, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, people are very quick to forgive different types of like villains, protagonists, or whatever. Am I saying that right? Antagonists? I think it's antagonists. But people are very quick to forgive like the villains that go from villains to heroes, depending on what it is that they did. Now, because Bryce he took away, how do I say this? Because I don't know if I'm gonna get like demonetized or like age restricted or anything, so I have to be careful with the words that I use. But what was I gonna say? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I just feel like I want to really shed some light on that, you know? Like, people, even there was this whole subreddit where somebody was like, it was so gruesome the way Bryce died. Like, it was so gruesome. Like, he literally was beaten to death. Like, his bones were broken and everything. It was so gruesome, right? So then why is it that everybody was like, oh, he deserved it, blah, blah, blah? Mind y'all, he was sorry. He wasn't just sorry. He was actively trying to get better. He was seeing a counselor. The counselor was helping him to like figure his stuff out. He tried. And he was only in high school. And like, his family life, this is why child adolescent psychiatry and forensic psychology is so important. Like, just any type of psychology. Whoa, that stutter was crazy. Any type of psychology is extremely, extremely, extremely important, because y'all, children, right? How we treat our children, our young ones, it really will depend on how they grow up. What they turn out to be in their older years is how you treat them as a child, if that makes sense. However you were raised, or however you were treated, or like characterized as a child, that stuff sticks with you. It sticks with you, and it's like carried on until adulthood, and it like manifests and changes into different things. Like, I'm also going to talk about other shows too. Like, for now, I'm just talking about 13 Reasons Why. But at some point, I'm going to talk about How to Get Away with Murder. I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about Once Upon a Time. I'm going to talk about other shows at some point. But for now, I'm just talking about 13 Reasons Why. But yeah, Bryce just being deemed as this person that should never get a second chance is not right, in my opinion. Because mind you, I don't know if y'all are religious, I'm not sure, but God forgives people that do terrible things all the time. Every day, I'm pretty sure he forgives at least someone. So if God is constantly forgiving people, who are we as humans to say, oh, that person doesn't get another chance? Based off of a mistake they made, or based off of a couple mistakes they made, even if they were really, really, really bad mistakes. If they are trying to be better, they're not just pretending to be better, but they're actually trying to be better, they should get the chance to be better. You know, it's not our place to say, oh, that person's life should be taken, or oh, that person shouldn't deserve to continue living or get a second chance. God, specifically Jehovah God, I'm not sure about anybody else's God, but I'm pretty sure most people serve a God that they believe is like kind, merciful, and forgiving. So who are we as humans to be like, oh no, that person doesn't deserve to be forgiven? People that don't deserve to be forgiven are people that, I can't even say that as a human. It's not my place. It's not my place to say who deserves to be forgiven and who doesn't. But God tells us to forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. That's what he tells us to do. He tells us to love our enemies. Kill them with kindness or whatever. You know, you don't want to be violent towards a person or think violent things towards a person just because they are violent. That's not right. That's not right. But in case y'all are like, why are you bringing religion into this? This has nothing to do with anything. This has to do with mental health. And this has to do with the fact that Bryce is a terrible person who didn't like have any remorse or anything. Yeah, no, he didn't feel remorse in the beginning. He didn't feel that. He didn't even call what he did the right term. He wouldn't even acknowledge it. He was like in this weird state of denial, mind you, which in psychology, you will find that. You will find that people at times will be in these like weird states of denial and like, I don't know, weird states, okay? But when Clay went to beat Bryce up, I mean, whoa, that's not what happened. When Clay went to Bryce's house to get his confession and he got beat up, Bryce was like, if you want to call it blank, call it blank. And if that's blank, every girl in this school deserves to be blank. I'm saying blank because I don't want to say the word. I don't know I don't know what the policy is on YouTube, so I'm not trying to. Yeah, if y'all don't know, watch the show. But yeah, he was like, and it's like he told Clay Hannah made eyes at him, but also, guys, there is a scene where he's like doing stuff with his girlfriend Chloe, and she's saying, leave me alone, stop, I don't want anything from you. But it's like she's trying to be flirtatious, she's trying to be suggestive and sexual. So if he constantly was hooking up with girls that were doing things like that, yeah, it makes sense that he would assume that somebody wanted him or was making eyes or whatever. Because, and no, guys, I am not victim blaming. I am not saying he was innocent. I'm not trying to prove his innocence. But again, psychology and I think philosophy too, just different types of like ways of explaining behavior. There are reasons why people do what they do. Nobody just does anything for no reason. Nobody does that. Like, actually understand that, guys. Understand that no human just does things for no reason. Everything has a cause and effect, like a butterfly effect, chain reaction type junk. It's never just because. Bryce did not get in his own hot tub and just do what he did just because he felt like it. There was a reason that he felt like he could do that. Like, he even wanted to do that. He felt some type of way about the whole situation, which is why he did what he did. Mind you, he had a rich father that excused his behavior, didn't really have him on any type of leash. He was privileged, essentially. But at the same time, in season 3, we get to look deeper into this man's life. We get to look deeper. We get to see really what he was going through, like, for real. We really get to see it. We don't just see him doing his own work, but we see what his home life was like. His father was cheating on his mother, he had some type of secret sister that he didn't know about, that his father had some weird child with another woman, and Bryce found out about it. Like, he had a grandfather that was abusive, like verbally and apparently physically abusive towards his mother, because there's a scene where Nora Walker is like, the difference is Barry uses silence and my father used his fists, right? So it's like, Bryce went through a lot at home. Mind you, he also felt like he low-key didn't like himself. If y'all pay attention, oh my gosh, if y'all pay attention to the third season, like, the creators, the producers, the directors, they did not just make that series. They especially, because people like to say, oh, and quote me if I'm wrong, but people like to say that they made the third season just because the actor was getting hate and death threats. No. They did not make an entire season based off of a singular actor getting death threats. I don't think that's what happened. I think that they showed that Bryce is human, because everyone in the show is human. Everyone in the show made mistakes. Everyone in the show made really bad mistakes, mind you. Some were deemed worse than others. Everybody has their own perception. That's why this video is titled My Thoughts. This is what I think. This is how I feel. I'm not trying to push my ideas onto anyone else. I'm not trying to say like, oh, your idea is wrong or whatever. But my opinion, personally, I don't think it's right that we just, as a community, oh, should I say that? I don't know. No, I'm not going to say that. Me, personally, I think Bryce did deserve to live, to start over, to get another chance. Hannah didn't deserve, no, oh my gosh, sorry. Hannah didn't get the chance to start over because she took her own life. Suicide is never the option. Never. She had stuff piled on top of stuff that made her feel like suicide was the right option. By the way, her parents not paying attention is part of the reason why she committed suicide. The parents sued the school and tried to make it seem like Mrs. Bradley didn't like do whatever she was supposed to do. She read a note, but she did not notify the parents because the whole point of her class was confidentiality. Like, what? And she apparently reached out to the kids and said like, oh, if you need help, there are resources. Like, she did what she thought that she should do in that moment. But yeah, I'm talking like in circles, I think. But my point is, Bryce, as a character, as a person, he did not deserve to die the way that he did. One, because mind you, he wanted to apologize. He wanted to apologize. He wanted to be better. His intention was to try. Yes, out of anger, he did provoke Zach to beat him up. One. Wait, did he provoke Zach to beat him up? Yeah, he did, because he was going to walk away. And then Zach, like, broke his leg or something. So he couldn't walk. Which was like, shoot. But at the same time, Bryce took his leg out. Bryce did not need to do that. Mind you, he was messing with Ani. So why he was even mad about Chloe doesn't make any sense to me. Why he even cared. You have a whole other female that you're doing stuff with. So why you care about Chloe, I don't understand. Talking about, oh, you stole my girlfriend. That's not your girlfriend. One. Two, you guys know what he did to her if you watch the series. He did something to her and then lied and gaslit her and made her think that he didn't do what he did. So Bryce, he had his moments. He had his moments. But he was a teenage boy that had home disorder. He had stuff going on at home. Children, adolescents that act the way that Bryce acts, they have stuff going on at home. Because again, guys, nobody does things for no reason. Nobody does that. If you don't understand the reason why somebody is doing something, that doesn't automatically mean there was no reason. There is just a reason that you don't know. You don't know what the reason was, but there is a reason. That doesn't excuse the behavior. That doesn't justify it. That doesn't mean, oh, that it should be excused and like nothing. But it doesn't mean that, if anything, Bryce should have went to jail for a while and then been able to get out and then live his life like a registered predator or something, if anything. But to die is, well, before he didn't even get to live his life. He didn't get, and I understand, like, oh, Hannah didn't get to live hers either, but she took her life. There's a difference. Bryce was murdered. He was murdered, and then he drowned because he couldn't swim because his bones were broken. Just think about that. Does that sound humane to you? Like, if that happened to your friend or you, would that would not invoke some type of, like, you don't have empathy? And that also makes me feel some type of way. That tells me more about you or whoever it is that feels that way than it does about, like, Bryce and his character. You saying that he deserved to die that way and it should have been worse or whatever, that's a reflection of your character, your anger, your whatever it is that you got going on. And it's not, again, we're not excusing behavior. I'm not saying that what he did was right or good or anything like that. I'm saying that he didn't deserve to die. And even the characters in the show acknowledge that he didn't deserve to die. The fact that he did die was an unfortunate event, and it's just a bunch of teenagers that need help. They need serious help. Serious help. But if any of them were all seeing therapists before any of this transpired, if Hannah had got herself a counselor, if she had the resources, or if she knew about the resources, like, she wouldn't have done what she did. She wouldn't have did what she did. I meant to say. She wouldn't have killed herself. If Porter had responded the right way, things would have been better. To say you just have to move on is crazy. He did not have to word it like that. He didn't. Like, and then I like how the directors show, sorry if my eyes are going in two different directions. I'm so sorry. I like how the directors show the different, like, ways that things would have went if Hannah was alive, and if the people got a second chance, how they would act differently, how they would do things differently. Like, guys, it's crazy. Like, we're all human and we all make mistakes. Nobody in that show is just evil or bad. And as much as we all as a community dislike what happened to Hannah, Chloe, Jessica, etc., and we dislike the fact that those people were the ones that inflicted that pain upon the characters that inflicted the pain, we also have to think about them too. We don't just think about the victims, because ultimately what people fail to understand or fail to remember or realize is that, like, predators become predators because they were once victims. Let me say that again. Predators become predators because at some point they were once a victim of something. Nobody thinks about that. Nobody talks about that. It's all, oh, he did this, she did that, and they're terrible, they deserve to die, they deserve to rot in prison, they deserve all of these things. What about their trauma that went unchecked? What about what happened for them? To them. They reacted in the way that they did, or they did whatever it is that they did. Again, not excusing behavior, but they act how they act for a reason. Something happened to them that we don't know about. We don't know about what happened. We didn't know about what happened to Bryce before he did what he did, and before the Hannah trials, and before she killed herself. We did not know what happened, right? We did not know. And we didn't know what happened to Monty. We didn't know how he was feeling, how he was thinking, until later in the season after he already died. And I find it interesting how the directors do that too. We already know that the people are dead, but we don't know that they're good people, or not good people. We don't know that they are just human beings. We forget that they're just human beings that make mistakes and come from broken households until after they're dead. When they're dead, we realize. But when they're alive, we just think about how they're causing pain to everybody. But what about their pain? What about Monty's pain? Yes, some people don't like Justin because he because of the whole situation that happened with Jessica. He did not stop Bryce from doing what he did to her. He tried to stop him and he got pushed out, and he sat there on the floor because he was scared or something. He was also drunk. It was a lot of factors, right? But some people don't like Justin for that reason. But Justin was... And do you know that the whole time Jessica was talking to this man about, oh, you don't know how it feels, you don't know how it feels, and that the whole time Justin was a survivor too? Like, what? It's crazy, y'all. We don't know. We don't know what happens. We don't know what happened to them. We don't know what it is that they've been through. We don't. So to say that a person's life loses value because of a sin that they committed or because of a crime that they committed, in my opinion, is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong because you don't know what they did. It doesn't justify what they did to the other person. They could have gotten help. But sometimes they can't get help. There are factors, and some people can't get help for whatever reason. So I need people to consider. I need people to consider that. Just maybe think about how other people are affected by certain stuff. Nobody does things for no reason. And again, predators become predators because they were once victims. They have unresolved trauma, and whatever it is that happened to them in their childhood, teenagehood, adolescenthood, young adulthood, something happened to them that made them think whatever it is that they're thinking up here. And because of that, they don't have the same, like, reaction to certain things. They don't have the same feeling towards certain behaviors like we do. So this just everyone in the series, it's a really, really, really good series. It is. But nobody in the series is innocent. Nobody in the series is innocent. And nobody in the series that dies deserves to die at any point. Nobody in the series that gets hurt deserves to get hurt. It's a fact of just situation and circumstances. Things happen because of the circumstances that presented themselves at that time. And it's crazy because things like this happen to people all around the world. People are getting hurt. People are committing suicide. People are hurting other people. And there's so many people out there that are hurting in some way and that need help. And they don't get it for whatever reason. It's really tragic and it's sad. And I like 13 Reasons Why because it shows the realness of life and people. It shows how humane everyone is. Not humane. Everyone is human. Everyone has stuff going on. Even the rich white kids have stuff going on. Okay? Like, everyone has something. Everyone has something that they're dealing with. Some people are depressed. Some people aren't depressed. But everyone has something that they got going on. Right? So, I just really like that series. But I just wanted to share my personal opinions on Bryce and Monty and the characters that are deemed like, oh no, you're terrible. They never deserve a second chance. I just wanted to say it's not my personal right to say who deserves another second chance. Another chance. It's not my right. It's not my choice. It's not my decision. God makes those decisions. God. And also, like, the court. In the system, the court and the justice people, the policemen, the judges, they make the decision of who deserves what. Not me. Not me. So, me personally, if anything, Bryce deserved to go to jail for a while and then get out at some point. Maybe when he's 30 or 40, maybe. And then move away and start his life over, possibly. But there's also the part where if he did go to jail, he might have gotten stabbed in jail, just like Monty did, because they assumed that he was a child blank. So, and even there's a scene where Tyler feels sad for him because it's like, I'm not a child. I'm not. So it's like, you never know what people are going through. Monty was getting beat at home. He was getting beat by his drunk father, like every night, by the way. And his father was clearly homophobic. You saw the scene where he spit on him before he left him in the jail cell. By the way, that was the last time he saw his son, and then his son was dead. Like, y'all, please. But yeah, I'm not sure if I covered everything, but this video is getting long. I have more to say on this topic. If y'all want to hear more from me on this, please let me know in the comments. This is a very controversial topic, and it takes a lot of courage to come out on YouTube and talk about this, because it's like, I know people have very sensitive like feelings about these people and these type of like crimes and activities. People have very strong feelings, but I just want to say, like, that's just how I feel. And this is coming from a person that has experienced something similar to what Hannah and Jessica and Justin and Tyler experienced. I have experienced something similar in my lifetime. I'm 18, by the way, and I've experienced something at some point in the 18 years that I've been alive. I'm not going to go into detail, but I understand from experience what the victims went through. But I'm also a person that considers the entire picture, the whole picture, not just the picture that everybody wants to show me, not just what everybody else wants to see. It's easier to point fingers and say, this person did that, I hate you. But it's harder to actually have empathy for everyone and to actually remember that everyone is human. It's harder to do that, I understand. But we should do that more often. We should consider people's overall feelings. And we should consider that everybody has things that they got going on that they may not talk about. So, y'all, what I want to end this video off by saying is just be kind to your friends. Be kind to your associates. Don't bully. Don't bully. And please, if you are struggling, also bullies, before I end the video, bullies are being bullied at home in some way or being taught to bully. People that slam people up against lockers, punch them, spit on them, quote unquote terrible people are not terrible people. They have things going on at home that they don't talk about or don't share because they can't or they don't know how, or for whatever other reason. Nothing is black and white. Nothing is just this or that. Life, people especially, are so complex and they have so many different things to them. So to say something as simplified as they are just this and they don't deserve this is just not what we as humans should do. That's just my opinion. But yeah, if you need help, please reach out to somebody. It does get better. I promise. This is coming from a person who dealt with depression, suicidal ideation, self-harm, addiction, all of that. I dealt with that. Okay, I dealt with so many of the issues that are talked about or discussed in 13 Reasons Why. I dealt with so many of them growing up. So I promise it gets better. When you begin to have control over your own life, it gets better. I promise. And if you feel like it can't or it won't or it isn't, talk to somebody. I will link 3 different online therapy sites in the description. I will also link the hotline numbers. I will link jw.org for people that are interested in religious comfort or spirituality. And I hope that you guys get the support that you need. If that's what you need, I pray that y'all get that, because harming someone else isn't the answer, and harming you, yourself, is not the answer. You are not bad. And if you've already done any of the topics in 13 Reasons Why, if you've already experienced something, or if you've already done something, if you're feeling some type of guilt or shame, and you feel like you just have done something you can't come back from, you can come back. Excuse me, you can come back. You can. You will be okay. Things will be okay. You just have to be willing and able, and you have to have courage. You have to have that bravery, or maybe you don't have courage or bravery in the beginning, but take the step anyway and stay alive, because you're on this earth for a reason. There is a purpose for you being here. You're not just here just to take up space, just to be another statistic. Okay? Be alive. Live your life. And be kind to everyone as much as you possibly can. Try to do something that's good in the world. Try and contribute to its longevity, its prosperity. Just try and be good. Try and be good. That's all you can do. And if you see somebody else getting hurt or being bad, or not bad, if you see somebody else getting hurt or doing the hurting to themselves, help them out. If you're afraid that they're not going to like you anymore or be your friend, oh well, at least they won't be dead. At least they won't be hurt. They'll be alive. And if in the worst case scenario, that they end up dying anyway, it's not your fault. They had something wrong within themselves that they didn't see a way to fix. And there wasn't enough support all around in order to help them. But it's not your fault. It's not all on you. Just because you didn't call that friend at 12 a.m. when they spam called you and you were trying to sleep, that one time that you chose yourself, they just so happened to die, that's not on you. It's not. They had stuff going on that you could just not fix, and that has nothing to do with you and your abilities. That doesn't mean you need to go out and become a doctor just so that you can fix every little problem. Become a doctor because you want to help all people, not just because you want to redeem yourself for what you did to your friend. Okay? Just be gentle and kind to yourself. Be kind to others, and be open to repairing and rebuilding and growing. But that's all guys. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking to this channel or this video if this is what you did. Please comment down below what videos you would like to see from me. I'm open to almost anything. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, good afternoon, or great evening. Please have an amazing life, or whatever it is that you got going on, and stay alive, stay healthy, stay good. Bye-bye now.